So sometimes it's nice to just contemplate and reflect. And I've just been having my breakfast, and this is my view every morning. But one of the differences today is that the sun's actually shining. But I'm just feeling really thankful. And if I get up and go outside, look at that sunshine. Isn't it gorgeous? And I'm just looking around. And it's such a joy to me that everything that I'm growing, or most of what I'm growing, is feeding me. And that is just so satisfying. Look at these sweet peas. I keep picking them every day and they're just coming back more and more. They're amazing. I've got all my little bird friends. They've had their breakfast. They like hanging around. So it's going to be another lovely day. So welcome back to my kitchen garden. So I've just started to weed the gravel that's underneath the bird feeder. Oh my goodness, it's almost like a lawn. And it's ironic, isn't it, that the seeds that we've tried to get to germinate in the spring and early summer, they've been so stubborn, they've just not wanted to germinate at all. And yet it seems every single seed that's dropped out of the bird feeder has germinated. What I've done is I've scraped back some of the gravel, and where I suppose it's all the debris as well as the bird seed, so bird droppings, and there's fat balls, so there's all sorts of deposits falling onto the gravel. That's decomposing, and so I'm ending up with all of this. Well, I don't want that in my gravel path because that's just going to allow other things to grow. So I've got a bit of a process going. I have got a bucket for the weeds. I've got a bucket for my gravel. When I think what is in the sieve is reasonably clean, I'm then dumping it in here. So all of this is now clean. And I've got this bit left to do. But let me show you this. If I can get under here. It's like a cake. That's all the suet, I think, from the fat balls. And these. Anyway, I'm going to finish this bit off and then I'm done. Oh my goodness. That's one of those jobs that seems like a good idea at the time. And when you start it, it's mildly satisfying, almost therapeutic, until you get about halfway through it, and then you wish you'd never started. But I'm so glad it's done. It looks so much nicer. Let me show you. And you'll see the rubbish that I've got out from underneath the gravel. I can't believe what was there. Let me show you. So firstly, let me show off my nice tidy path. Look at that. That looks great. It's not compacted anymore. It's all completely loose. There's no debris between the gravel and the weed membrane. So I'm pleased with that. But look at this. This is a 10-litre bucket. Or was it a 20-litre? I don't know. It's a big bucket anyway. but it's half full. But I can't put that in the compost because it's full of seed. So that's going to have to go in the council wheelie bin. And then I have got a bucket full of all the growth that I've pulled up. So I think that's a good job done. I think it must be about 6:30 now, going on for 7 o'clock in the evening, and I'm going to go and do my dinner. So I'll speak to you all again probably tomorrow. So this is homemade sage and onion stuffing, made with onions and sage from the garden. Homemade cauliflower cheese with homegrown cauliflower. Charlotte potatoes, Kent blue peas, purple queen beans and cobra. So this is my kitchen garden dinner, and I have got Charlotte potatoes, a piece of chicken, that's all my veg. I have a couple of stuffing balls and my cauliflower cheese. Oh no, I think that looks proper tasty. The enemy has arrived. I think that's the first one I've seen. So I think the theme for the spring and summer this year has been mostly cold, dull and wet, pretty miserable. But I've been really lucky. The last couple of days while I've been home, it's actually been quite nice. So I haven't done an awful lot in the way of jobs, but I've had a chance just to sit out here. It's been nice and peaceful with my cups of coffee and Paddy at my feet, and yeah, just really, really relaxing. Doesn't that make a change? Anyway, about 5 or 6 days ago, it was pouring with rain yet again, and I was itching to do something but couldn't really do anything in the garden, so I sowed some seeds. That was in the greenhouse, and I didn't film it because the noise of the rain on the roof is just horrendous. But a lot of the seedlings are up now, so let me take you to the greenhouse. Look how sunny it is. It's beautiful. Oh, I'll go back a bit, but I need to pick some beans. I spotted some whoppers that I've missed. But let's go in the greenhouse. Look at these beauties. So I have got spinach. There's been no movement from them at all, so I don't know if that seed is perhaps too old. But the rainbow chard, a few of those have come up. Next to it are broccoli. I've got one there. Ooh, come back a bit. Another one there. So I've got 3 broccoli so far. The cauliflower, they're doing really well. There's a lot of those have come up. And then in the next row I've got cos lettuce. So there's a good germination rate there. And then this is spring onion, and I just noticed, where is it? You can just see one there. Next to it I've got some scallions. These are, I can't remember what they're called. I'll put it on the screen. These are the ones that Ali sent me. So I've got signs of a couple of those coming up already. And then the rocket, that's had a very, very good germination rate. and behind it my trusty Lola Rosso. So the idea is that most of the salad crops, so that's the spinach, chard and all the lettuce and salad leaves, are going to go in the bed near the beans, and then the cauliflower and broccoli are going to go in the bed where I had all my onions. So yeah, I'm really pleased with that. Now I did some strawberry runners. Most of them are doing really well, but there's a couple that are not very happy, so they may well not take, but that's okay. And then there's all the usual suspects, all my chilies, tomatoes. I'm having a real issue though with the leaves curling. I don't know if that's because it's been so cold at night, but I've been very careful with the watering. I've got these halos which I've never used before, but I've stuck rigidly to the instructions. So yeah, is anybody else having that problem undercover? It never happens outside for some reason. The other issue is they've definitely got a magnesium deficiency, so I've just given them a good feed. And then last but not least, the cucamelon. And it's got a few yellow leaves in. I don't know if that's, maybe it's had too much water. I'm going to let that dry out a little bit and then I'll give it a really good feed. But let's see if there's some fruit. There is fruit. Really tiny. So I only managed to pick a few beans. There's so many. I might actually give some to a neighbour, and then I'm going to have to freeze the rest. And then this is my tomatoes and 2 Cheyenne chili peppers. This is my finished pasta sauce. So it's all been blended. You can strain it if you want to remove any seeds, but I'm not bothered. And that is really tasty. What I've just picked. They're absolutely beautiful. So I think this may get frowned upon, but I made this yesterday afternoon. It tickled me, because that's where little Ratchy comes in and out. So now he's got his own little sign, just in case he's not sure. Well, I think I've been a little bit over enthusiastic about the weather, because today it's really dull. There's no sunshine whatsoever, but it's not raining, so touch wood. Let me show you a few things. Something that I'm really thrilled with is my sweet corn this year. It wasn't bad last year, but every plant has got the potential of 3 cobs this year, and they've all got their tassels on now, and they've had a good old shake to let the pollen drop. So let me show you. So what do you think of that? I mean, look how tall it is. That's a 6-foot fence, and it's about 2.5 feet above it. I know it's slightly elevated, but only by a foot. Yeah, amazing. So Now each plant has got 3 lots of cobs. I'll take you to another one. So that one, got the plant, and there's another one here. 1, 2 and 3. So yeah, I think they're doing really, really well. Very exciting. Look at this salvia. It's got some bees on there. Good old bumblebee. Well, it might not be a bumblebee, but it's similar. So I'm particularly pleased with the carrots. These are I think they were the Nance 5, but they're looking very healthy. Don't disturb them too much. And these are my main crop potatoes. These are King Edwards, so I've got 2 buckets that have come up. This one has yet to show anything poking through, but I'm sure it'll follow soon. So these are doing okay. Now the inevitable has happened. This is my Kent Blue. It's absolutely covered in pods, but I've tried doing everything to stave it off, but it's got powdery mildew. So I think that's literally a matter of days, and that's going to have to come out. And sadly, the sweet peas have got signs of it as well. Seem to get it every year, doesn't matter what I do to try and stop it, but it's what it is. And I can't complain because I harvested loads of flowers yesterday because it was covered again. But look, it's got so many buds. So in the next day or two, that's going to have another fantastic display. So I might be able to rescue them before the powdery mildew gets too bad. These are Danny's Gigantes, and they're starting to romp away now. I'm really, really disappointed with my Golden Gate this year. They are just not happy at all. They've hardly put any growth on. They went in the same time as the runner beans, and you can see the runner beans behind, and the cobra. They're really, really sort of bushy. But these, no, nothing. And now I've noticed the leaves are looking a bit miserable. So there's something wrong with this particular area of the bed, because it's been amended several times. It's had loads of fresh compost and manure, but they're still not happy. So I think they might have to come out as well. So these geraniums were huge. They were trailing over the gravel. You couldn't see the gravel at all. They got very, very straggly. So I cut them right back to the base, and they're regenerating now. But this time I've put some plant supports in. So I've got a ring there, which as that grows a little bit higher, I can pull it up higher to try and stop it collapsing. So try and keep it contained within the bed. Got my first Japanese anemones in flower. Not such a big display this year, but it was fantastic last year, so it's probably having a bit of a rest. But let's see if I can squat down here without falling in the bed. Look at this. This is the honeysuckle. So it's having a second shot after I was ruthless and cut the whole lot back. Those leaves look a lot healthier. I hope they stay that way. But it was worth taking the risk, I think. The rose has put out loads of new growth, so I'm going to trim some of that back because I'm trying to keep its shape. But it seems pretty happy there. And if you remember a few weeks ago, I cut the strawberries right back to their crowns. Now look at them. The one in the corner though, I've taken all the top leaves off it again because it had been attacked. So hopefully that'll recover. And something I'm really thrilled about is the rhubarb has finally got itself established again. I cut it back last autumn and split it, put 2 pieces in. It did have some roots, but it performed quite poorly for the best part of this year so far. And then all of a sudden it's taken off, so I think the roots have really got going now. I've not cut any sticks of rhubarb this year to give it a chance to rejuvenate, but hopefully next year I'll have some lovely fresh rhubarb, which I adore. The apple, despite what it looks like, because it's been absolutely christened by the birds that sit on the fence, it seems really happy. And I can't believe this, we're not even out of July and I had my first apple today. It was ripe and it was so juicy, it was lovely. So that's quite a thrill. Finally the courgette. Those leaves are looking a little bit speckly, so I think because we've had so much rain we just get nutrient runoff. So I've given that a really good feed, so fingers crossed that will rectify that issue. But it's got some fruit almost ready. I've been cutting away each row of lower leaves, so as it grows up, the biggest leaves that you see now I'll cut away just to try and keep it more compacted. But it's doing okay. It was a slow burn, but it's on its way now. So the building site has been getting very noisy again this morning, so I think it's time to wind this video up. I've achieved everything that I wanted to do over the last couple of days. I'm back at work tomorrow and Saturday, so I'm going to take a break from the garden. If you're new to my channel, then please subscribe. If you hit the bell icon, you'll get future notifications, and every thumbs up, thumbs down, that interaction really helps with the algorithm. If you leave a comment, I will come back to you first opportunity that I get. So have a great week everybody, and I will see you in the next one. I'm Annie and this is my kitchen garden.